What's good, world? What's good? It's your boy Preezy, back at it again with another edition of Red Pill Wednesdays, where I speak on the relations and interactions between men and women from a black man's perspective. Today, I want to speak on 5 ways to create a level of trust with your sexual partner. Step number 1 to creating a level of trust with your sexual partner is to have a no judgment zone. Different people have different kinks, different turn-ons, so on and so forth, and when people hear about certain sexual relationships and experiences that people have had in the past, whether it's BDSM or other things, people get turned off by that. But you got to be mature enough to know that sex is just a part of life. That doesn't really define a person's character. Now, we're all entitled to have our standards, whether we want to deal with this person. But if you decide to deal with that person, you got to have a no judgment zone. You have to just chalk that up, their sexual past, and just let that be that. I've had women expose certain things to me, and I just let it roll off my back because I'm not judging them. I'm not equating their sexual history with their character as a person, just because they was in the BDSM or whatever they was into, certain things, certain kinks, that doesn't make them a bad person. That just means that they're not sexually, limited, they're willing to let their inhibitions go and take it to further extent. So if I was to judge them, that's not going to make them want to expose that side to me if I'm into that too, or if I'm into certain things. That won't create a level of trust if I'm questioning them or looking at them, and if they can feel the vibe when they told me that, let's say for instance, they was getting it in the back door or something. Like, if I'm looking at them like she's a slut or a whore, for lack of better words, then she's not going to want to, cross those lines with me. Like, especially if she likes me, like if she's taking a liking to me. Certain women don't want to let their men see that side of them, because they know that the man that they're with, the man that they love, they know that he would judge them for certain things that they're into or that they want to try or that they want to explore. So you definitely want to have a level of trust, and create a no judgment zone, so your sexual partner will be willing to open themselves up to you in that way, and they don't have to be feared of you looking down on them or things getting weird. You just have to be mature enough to know that sex is just a part of life that doesn't define the person, and be able to separate that. So that's step number 1 to creating a level of trust with your sexual partner, is to facilitate a no judgment zone to make them feel comfortable. Step number 2 to creating a level of trust with your sexual partner is to be sexually responsible. If you're out here all willy-nilly, people aren't going to want to explore certain things with you. For me, for instance, like, I always carry a condom. To be fully transparent, I have a condom in my pocket right now. Like, it's that real, and I have no intentions of doing anything, but it's just my habit, like I never leave home without it, for lack of better words. But you want to be sexually responsible, practice safe sex, you want to get tested, all of that, get your physicals and get your blood work done and all that. You want to have your partner be sure that you're sexually responsible, that even if you have other partners, that you're being safe with that, because if somebody's unsure, that's going to make them a little uneasy of going there with you, or doing certain things. Like, if you're into raw sex, I'm not into raw sex personally. I'm always protected, me personally. Like, I don't judge anybody for what they do, but I prefer protection. But if you was into that, if you're not being responsible with other partners, how are they going to trust you? So you definitely want to practice responsible sex, and have a responsible lifestyle when it comes to sex. You don't want to be out here, like I said, just all willy-nilly. You want to be safe, and that's how you can create a level of trust with your partner. So always practice safe sex, and if you're not going to do it, at least be responsible to be transparent and get tested and all of the above. So that's step number 2 to creating a level of trust with your sexual partner, is to practice safe sex and be responsible with your sexual lifestyle. Step number 3 to creating a level of trust with your sexual partner is knowing how to show restraint. When you're in a sexual encounter, you got to know how to have self-control. You can't impose your will, and it's particularly talking to the fellas, even though women are capable of this too. But you want to show restraint. You don't want to be that guy that's imposing his will on a sexual partner to gain some type of pleasure, to gain some type of satisfaction. You have to have enough mindfulness to assess the situation. Even if they're not saying nothing, you have to know when you're causing pain, when it's becoming unpleasant for your sexual partner. And you got to know that no means no, and you got to be somebody that's not so hell-bent on getting their own satisfaction, that they're disrespecting anybody or not respecting their wishes and taking things too far and taking something that wasn't granted for them, because when you have a level of trust, then people are willing to let go all of their inhibitions for you. That's the point of this video, when you're putting them in a state of mind where they're comfortable, where they can trust you and know that you're not going to take things too far, you're not going to inflict pain, you're going to stop when no means no, then they'll be willing to take it as far as they're willing to go with you. And that's the key point, as far as they're willing to go with you. So you want to have self-control, you want to be mindful, you want to have restraint and know when to pull back and know not to go off the deep end just for your own sexual pleasure. So that's step number 3 to creating a level of sexual trust with your partner, is showing restraint and discipline and knowing when to pull back and not going too far off the deep end. Step number 4 to creating a level of trust with your sexual partner is to be a passionate lover. First of all, you have to make the experience as pleasurable as possible for your sexual partner, that they want to tango with you, that they want to dance in the bed, in the sheets, whatever you want to call it. So you have to be sure that you're making it pleasurable, that you're creating arousal, you're setting the vibe, setting the tempo with how you're moving, how you're seducing her, You want to set everything nice and smooth so that they'll be in position to get hot and heavy, because a woman or a man, whoever you're with, they have to be aroused so that they're willing to go to those extreme lengths. If you're not really into it, if your head's not there, if there's no passion, if there's no spark, if there's no lust, if there's none of the above, then it's going to be hard to get somebody to go all out. Even if you've been in a relationship with somebody after a while, when they say that the sex gets stale, that's because there's no passion left, So that's why the sex gets stale. When there's passion, the sex can never be stale if there's passion between two partners. So that's definitely step number 4 to creating a level of sexual trust. So they'll want to go to those extra lengths, is to be a passionate lover. Be sure that they're being pleased, that they're having a good time, and you want to set those tones, set those vibes, so you can put themselves in the mind state to put you in the mind state, and y'all can have a great sexual encounter, and there's no inhibitions, and there's a level of trust. Step number 5 to creating a level of trust with your sexual partner is you have to use discretion. You can't be out here all willy-nilly telling everybody about your sexual exploits, naming names, kissing and telling, because that's not going to create a level of trust at all. That's going to create a level of distrust where somebody doesn't want to do anything with you. So you definitely want to have discretion. You want to be mature, not putting people's business out in the air and not just blabbing your mouth, So that won't, if somebody knows that you're going to run your mouth to your boys, to social media, or put them on blast, they're not going to want to go to certain lengths with you. They're not going to want to do certain things because they know that you're going to tell you and put them on Front Street. And like I said, this is a no judgment zone, but people don't like being judged, so that's the meaning of me saying in the earlier step, there's got to be a no judgment zone, but you also have to have discretion because people can be judged that way when you're putting their business on Front Street. And plus you have to be mature about the whole situation. You have to act like you've been there before. If you just acting like a kid in a candy store telling everybody that you got a candy bar, then that's not going to be a good look. That's even with me. Like I had to mature in certain areas in my life about my sexual exploits and stuff. Like I never named names, anything like that, or put anybody on blast, but just me talking about how I live my life sometimes, and in a certain manner. When I was younger, I had to grow from that and be sure to just keep things even more under wraps. It's not for anybody to know how I'm getting it, what I'm doing, which in the social media age, a lot of people lack the discretion, and they just move any type of way, and they reveal all types of information, not only about themselves, but about other people. But that's definitely step number 5 to creating a level of trust with your sexual partner, is to show discretion so they know that your business stays between the two of y'all, and it won't get out into the world, and they can't have trust in that. So definitely show discretion. So those are my 5 tips and steps to creating a level of trust with your sexual partner. If you have any tips, any thoughts on this subject, be sure to hop in the comments, share your thoughts, and I'll be sure to get back with you. And if you enjoyed the content, be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel, like and share the video, and click the notification bell so you can receive more inspirational, entertaining, and informative content. But it's your boy Preezy. Peace.